What's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. Book is entitled Lessons from a Non-Custodial Father at Amazon, Kindle, and Create Space. Link will be in the description box below as usual. Video entitled Black on Black Crime versus Police Brutality. Another brother got shot. You know the police brutality conversation is going to be had. Then you know the black on black crime conversation is going to follow a lot of the times. So I want to pit these two things against each other as fair as I can. So let's get into it. So black on black crime, does it exist? Yes. Is it a problem? Yes. Police brutality, does it exist? Yes. Is it a problem? Yes. So for the people that are say you kill each other, so what's the big deal? I would say that's true. But that's not what they're talking about when you bring it up. I would also say that police brutality is equally as true. And why are people trying to defend it? There's a part of it where people may say something like, you know, if you don't do it to yourselves, the probability of the police killing you wouldn't be so high or wouldn't happen so frequently. And I would say that's a legitimate, logical point. You know, can't argue with that. I would also say that police brutality, the way that it's going on now, existed before black on black crime was ever a phrase and considered a thing, when black people didn't commit crimes at the rate that we do now. So police brutality has lasted longer than black on black crime, which is also true. Now when we get into the nuances of these things, you're going to get the because of black on black crime, in a sense, we're all looked at as suspects, and that's a problem, because if a whole community is looked at as a suspect and the country's cool with it, then how isn't the country cool with that same community looking at the cops as suspects? I mean, if you're gonna stereotype one group and say it's understandable, what is the problem with stereotyping another group and saying it's understandable? Problem, you know. For the criminals out there, you know, you're part of the problem, just like the police are part of the problem. Because a lot of you participate in crime in our communities, and the community in some ways silently supports it by being complicit. We can't police our own communities and get rid of this problem because too many people benefit off of the criminal element in our community. So I can't, you know, if somebody's saying that isn't true, they'll be lying. That is true. That's what ties part of our community members' hands, because y'all, some of you same people who want to scream for police brutality are silent and benefiting from black criminality. So that's a true thing that gets in the way. As far as the other side of that coin, it's the same thing. Too many police officers know about police brutality or police misconduct and do nothing about it. And, you know, they benefit off of the badge and what is it, the blue shield or the blue wall. So you condone your criminals the same way our community condones its criminals in complicit silence, So, there's no difference. It's the pot calling the kettle black, basically. This is why I'm kind of bringing this up, because there's hypocrisy on both sides. But I will say, for the people who use black on black crime as a deflection for police brutality, that's just a deflection. It really is a deflection. I made a comment to a video about the other dude that got caught, that they basically roughed up for jaywalking, and somebody was like, it's not like people see school shooters walking in schools with guns and they wouldn't do the same to them. And I was like, two things happened since then. A school shooter was seen with a gun and the police did run away. And then next, a brother was shot in his own yard because a cell phone looks like a gun. Right. So this is why I make videos. This is part of the reason why I made this video. Now, when it comes to the nuance argument, you should comply. I'm going to be real about it as I can on every aspect. There are guys who run from the police because they did something wrong. And there are guys who run from the police because they scared of getting killed by the police. Either way, at the minimum, you're going to get tuned up. That's just that you just take that with it. You're going to get tuned up either way. And the comply part is coming. For the people who believe that you should just comply, I'll say it's a nuance to it. The problem with that is this. When a person says, comply, the officer asks you for your license and registration, get it. Don't give them no lip. You're right. For you people who like arguing with police officers, even if you were pulled over unfairly, it's stupid for you to argue. Especially if you're a black man, like that's really stupid. You know how it's gonna go down. So if you're dealing with an officer that just wants your license and registration, give it to him and shut up. Now, there's a different way that people who are not black males act like doesn't happen, where a cop can ask you for your license and registration. Same words verbatim. Hand on his pistol and waiting for you to actually reach for your license and registration and your wallet to get shot. You can tell by the look in their eyes that they're ready to kill you. And sometimes that's the nuance that people don't talk about. That's sometimes why people don't comply. You're like, reach for your license and registration. It's like, nah, B, you're not finna shoot me and say I was reaching for a gun. And that's where the conversations go back and forth about, talking to your kids and training your kids and so that they can handle dealing with police situations, because it's the same exact scenario, but they can end completely differently because, depending on the situation, you might have a cop that's doing his job and a cop that's looking for an excuse to blow your brains out. And you've seen both in social media, and you could and you know the difference. So if you know the difference watching it, the person dealing with it knows the difference when they're in the midst of it. Now, the training part always bugged me, because to say that on one end, for people to have to teach their kids how to interact with the cops, that's parenting. But to have them interact with cops so cops don't kill them, we're training kids better than kids are better trained for conflict resolution, and de-escalation than the police. If you're black kids, for the most part. So the whole kids, and I'm just saying kids because it starts with children. So when we raise our kids to have better reasoning skills than grown men with badges and the ability to and the license to kill you if need be, then that has nothing to do with training. That has something to do with people abusing their power. Now, as far as, police brutality comes, everything isn't police brutality. Sometimes you're going to do something that might get you tuned up. You shouldn't, I'm going to be honest with y'all, you shouldn't talk to cops any kind of way. You shouldn't treat cops any kind of way. You shouldn't, even though they're adversarial with us, you shouldn't even waste your time getting adversarial with them. Because if you have a bad day and a cop has a bad day, guess who can shoot you? Guess who can kill the other person and go home at night? The cop. So the fact that, you want to argue, and I've gotten arguments with cops. I'm not going to sit here and lie because some people have pissed me off to that extent, But I understood once, as a man, once you get to a certain place, you got to be willing to either get killed because of an argument or go to jail, maybe get beat up by a couple of COs in the cell because of an argument with a police officer. Get fired because because even if you were right, you wanted to be right at the cost of your freedom. So, and sometimes you just pick the wrong person to talk crazy to on the wrong day and he tune you up. Sometimes you have it coming. It happens. Not gonna lie, it happens. As far as the black on black crime part, that's part of the reason why the police in the streets is because of crime. So if we didn't have as much crime in our communities, probably be less police there in the first place to have this police brutality situations. And I would say that's on us as a people and as a community, So, I tried to be as fair as possible with this, and let me know what you think. We out.